Hello everyone, my name is Adam Michael Anthony Simpson and you're watching my YouTube channel, Adam M.A. Simpson. And this is part 2 featuring my first cousin, Dr. Kristin Cowan-Lyn, or who I call Kristin. And you already know this is a very special interview because she was my role model growing up. So please enjoy and yeah. All right, let's get into the second half of the interview now, which is the impact on society. Kristin, tell us about being a medical doctor in Jamaica. You went to UWI, the same medical school as Vicky and Dr. O'Daniel O'Sullivan, who was actually on the channel previously. Yeah. Can you explain to an international audience your experiences practicing medicine on the island, and how does it compare to your stint in the UK? Like, just, comparison so that we can, I don't know, maybe a viewer can visualize or understand what it's like being a doctor in Jamaica.
Right. So in Jamaica, we have a saying, I don't want to mess it up. You take the hand and turn fashion.
Yes. Turn hand and make fashion.
But basically, we have a lot of need here in Jamaica, of course. But our doctors have found the ability to diagnose and treat conditions with very little available to us in terms of investigations and treatment modalities, and we do quite well maintaining our healthcare system with very little. So compared to the US healthcare system, I can say that we do things for less than, I would say, a quarter of the cost of what you would experience in the US, and we're able to get comparable results. So that's what we're super proud of here as an island. In terms of my experience here, there's so much vast amount of disease, different pathologies that you see here in
versus
Jamaica,
in the UK,
that you don't see in the UK.
Really?
Yeah. So one of the things that we have unique to the Caribbean, also in Africa, we get a lot of things like sickle cell disease. You rarely see in the UK. So actually, when I went over to the UK for the sickle cell disease that they were seeing over there, which would actually for the most part be people who are migrating from the Caribbean, and so they didn't have a lot of experience in that. And so they would actually bring me into the room like, oh, you're from the Caribbean.
Help me!
This is sickle cell. And yes, we see this a lot. And so that was interesting in terms of being able to kind of help in that way in the UK. But also, I would say that, just structure in the UK, the things are much more structured, which is good. And so I really learned, having a lot of more protocol for everything that you do, is as opposed to here in Jamaica, we kind of
it's more of an art.
No, we have structure here too.
Of course,
but it's a bit less rigid. But definitely, my experience over there, I was able to see a lot more of that structure and protocol driven. Everything you do, every little kind of minute thing that you think is more kind of automatic, it has to be,
protocol.
Exactly. Yes. And then when COVID actually came up, which was very interesting to me, is feet on the ground in the UK. COVID kind of started in January to March 2020. And it took a little while for the protocol to be made, because it was a new thing, and they were really like not sure how to answer questions about this and that, because I mean, we don't have a protocol.
Exactly.
And so I actually tended to go to the Jamaican Medical Association for my information, because I was getting more from them than I was initially from the UK. Just because they have such a rigorous kind of protocol base. Like, I'm not allowed to even answer that question. I can't figure it out. So that was interesting to me, because I think we waited almost like a month before I was getting rigorous answers about like how to operate, how do we have our clinics, how are we going to structure these things, how are we going to change things with the exposure, and so that was interesting.
That's interesting that you bring that up. Was it a teaching hospital that you're in as well?
It was.
Okay, so I've heard similar things about just education in general, that actually the episode that's going to come out soon was with a PhD candidate in the School of Education, and there was an argument. I'm not sure if it will make it into the actual episode, but there's an argument of like, when things are too rigid, it really breaks down under pressure, which is the pandemic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I did feel a bit of that with.
That's interesting. I wonder how you can bake that into the structure. That's a lot of research will have to go into that kind of stuff.
Think on your feet.
Yes.
And follow protocol.
Yes. Well, it's in the protocol that I think on my feet.
Yes, exactly.
So let me stand up. No.
Yes.
All right. So describe what motivates you in your work every day.
Okay, well, right now I am based at the Bustamante Hospital for Children. And so I work with babies, kids under 12 every day. And I mean, I really love my babies. They are such good patients. So my motivation every day is really just seeing and helping kids ensure that they have good vision. Right now, we're having the struggle of, what the pandemic has brought on. And I mean,
resources shift, or
resources have shifted, yes, as well as certain things that probably would have been happening more routinely, like parents checking on certain things like the vision. I think because they're a bit more fearful to go into the hospital system, to go in to see the doctor, they tend to wait until a little bit later to kind of seek attention for certain things. And I think it affects every aspect of medicine, and it has also affected our clinics. And so if you're seeing things presenting later, unfortunately, and you're, having to deal with less resources and all of that. And so it has been difficult. But daily, my motivation is those kids and making sure that they're doing well.
That's nice. And being a mother yourself, does that?
Yes, exactly. As a mother, it really does affect me. And I recently had another baby boy. He's 4 months old.
Also, Mother's Day just passed, and I want to wish Kristin a happy Mother's Day, as well as all the mothers out there. Kristin has 2 sons. She's a working professional, managing with the children, and she has great support from her husband, Alan. Alan Lynn is a great person. Wishing all the mothers a happy belated Mother's Day. I know it's probably a week late, but 2 weeks late. But you know, it's never too late to thank the moms, including my mom. Love you, mom.
And so, especially when I go into the clinic and I see the little tiny ones, it pulls on my heartstrings, and I talk to the mom, and you know, like sharing anecdotes together, you know, about, you know, raising little ones, and I can empathize with the parents a lot more, you know, as a mother myself, because when something is going wrong and when your child is sick, you're stressed, you may be a bit more short than you naturally would be, you know, if it wasn't this stressful situation. So I completely understand when parents come and they're really, you know, not showing their best selves necessarily, but I can understand, and I kind of try to pacify and help where I can.
Wow. So then, you've kind of already answered this question, but how has the pandemic impacted your work in Jamaica?
Yeah, well, at first it was affecting us because we just really didn't know for our own safety how to operate. We were, you know, masking and trying to ensure that we were protecting ourselves, and not just out of selfish reasons, but because if we need to protect ourselves to protect the patients that we're seeing afterwards, because, you know, you don't want to bring any illness to a patient in the workplace. So we were trying to figure out how to do that. And I think in Jamaica, especially with our resources being so cut short, a lot. Certain things like even the masks that the doctors are wearing, we are providing our own masks.
Yeah.
We go to work and I buy my masks, I get them and I have them. I mean, obviously, if you're to see, you know, a known COVID patient, they will provide these for you, and you have to wear the specialized N95 masks and everything, and shield, and that is provided. But just even walking in to the hospital and having a mask there, you have to buy your own. And then outside of that, just dealing with the patients on a day-to-day basis, you're really trying to make sure that you are keeping in mind that the stresses that are going on in the society, you know, because the parent who would naturally be able to take in their child also has to consider that their other children are online schooling, and that has to have childcare for them, and so you have a lot of missed appointments and rescheduling and so on, and so every aspect of things I feel is being affected, and you just have to persevere despite what's going on. Thankfully, I've been vaccinated, or doctors have been vaccinated here. I've had my first dose. I haven't had my second dose, so I shouldn't say I'm not fully vaccinated yet.
Almost there.
I know, almost there. My second dose is in a week.
Oh, wow.
But I think these are things that help to boost morale, really, because it is scary to be at risk. And then for me, putting my family at risk as well. I didn't see Grandpa for so long, and I missed him, and I would just call him, and you know, I was just saying I'm not staying away for any other reason other than I
don't want to expose.
Yeah, exactly. So all of that.
Yeah, that's it. It is rough. I was speaking to my friends about it. Everything in the pandemic just feels unnecessarily like slower. It's so frustrating when like it's very hard to keep a schedule because you have to follow all of these stuff, and
yeah. I mean, and for me, I was pregnant. I was moving back from the UK amid the pandemic.
Yes.
Travel was very scary for me.
Mm-hmm.
All of that, and my whole family, we relocated from the UK in the middle of it all.
Yes.
So that was another aspect that was, pretty stressful. But
yes.
we made it through.
Made it through, and luckily, well, now we know that at least on the plane it's not as bad as
as we first thought.
Yes. So much we know, so many things about the virus now that I remember when it wasn't even airborne.
Yeah, and I think one thing that it really highlighted, I think, to people in general is the need for research.
Yes.
And the importance of research.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, before you'd be like, research, but everybody really wants to know the results of all of the research for all the vaccines and for the virus, and we need to know how to treat it. And
exactly.
It highlights that importance.
Exactly. More people have a connection to research and understanding the results, because that for a while that was everything in the news. It still is,
exactly.
But so getting to my favorite question of the interview, what misconceptions about the medical profession would you like to dispel in general, and about the medical profession in Jamaica more specifically?
Okay.
For budding doctors in Jamaica, in general, and then budding doctors in Jamaica more specifically.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So, well, one thing I can remember when I was growing up, St. Paul Rampal, when I decided I wanted to be a doctor, and I told him I was going to, apply to medical school, he said to me, and it's something I think about all the time, is that there are a lot of easier ways to make money. If you want to and make more money even, because a lot of people probably think, oh, you're a doctor and you make so much money and you have this cushy life, but I mean, it is a difficult life. It's a life of service, and a lot of times people think doctors may be this glamorous thing, generally, but I think now, actually, even with the pandemic and everything, we're realizing more and more that being a doctor is really just serving people, and so I think that actually is the aspect that maybe now we're seeing it more, so people may not feel that it's this big glamorous thing now. That's definitely I think the impression that people had before. And specifically in Jamaica, I think it's pretty much the same thing. I think in Jamaica, as a professional generally, and as a doctor, they may think that it's quite glamorous, but my favorite aspect of being a doctor is working at the Kingston Public Hospital and the Boston Children's Hospital, which is, public hospital that is, you're dealing with a lot of, I would have to drive through some very sketchy areas to get to public hospital. You fare for, safety and so on. But you do it for some other reason, you're doing it for service.
Exactly. Serve the people who may need it more because they have less experience.
I love doctors. I feel like my KPH patients and my Buster patients, they're the most grateful, and they are they need it the most. And you can see the impact that you have on their lives, and they definitely are ever so grateful when you do anything for them, and so very rewarding.
Wow. And so before we end this recording, is there any last thing that you'd like to say? Is there any way that this has, I'm gonna be honest, this hasn't happened before on the channel. Still a very small channel, but is there any way that people can donate to Bustamante Children's Hospital?
Ooh, that's a interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think so. The Shaggy Foundation
Yes.
is the main donor to the Bustamante Children's Hospital. You know, most people will know Shaggy.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
But he has been ever so generous, and he recently, in collaboration with Sting,
Yes.
has done a lot of work to help Bustamante Children's Hospital. And so I think the best route for donating to the Bustamante Children's Hospital is through the Shaggy Foundation, because that's a route that already exists. And every year, well, he hasn't done it, I don't think, since COVID, but he usually has a big concert every year. Most artists just give their time, and everyone in Jamaica buys tickets because it's all of these fabulous, amazing artists performing, and all the proceeds go to Bustamante Children's Hospital. Built up a cardiology wing. He's built up services to allow for transplants, because all of these things are not some things that were available in the country, and he's done a lot of good work. And I think every other piece of equipment at Busta has a little thing donated by Shaggy Foundation.
Wow.
Been very instrumental. In our ophthalmology department, we have a lot of need. So I'm hoping that our department will be recipients of some of the.
Yes. Yes, I have to put in that little. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna attach a link to the Shaggy Foundation and a link to the hospital website as well. I'm pretty sure there's a website. All right. So thank you so much, Kristin. This really means a lot to me that you. We share this time to record this, episode.
Yeah, I'm really happy to do it as well, Adam. Honestly, I'm so proud of you. I've been taking in all your episodes, and I think it's really good what you're doing. It's not something that I ever would have thought to do, and I think it's gonna really help budding students and scientists, people interested in the field. I think you're really helping them, making things more understandable, even just how you go about getting into certain programs and grants and all of that. I didn't know all of these things. I'm like, I was talking to a group of people the other day. It's like all the information. It's so strange how it's not accessible, because everybody learned about these little things just by chance. Yeah, like speaking to the right person at the right time, or maybe having a mentor, but it's not normal. So a lot of people go through with their education not knowing. So that was it's a motivation of the channel, also to and elevate minoritized voices, and also tackle some science skepticism, and get people involved in what we do. So. Yeah, I just hope it continues to grow. I hope so too. I'm sure. Yes. Yeah. All right. So thank you, Kristin. Until next time, hopefully I get to come down to the island soon. So, we miss you. We can't wait. Miss everyone too. Yeah. All right. All right. Bye. Bye.
Thank you for watching this full episode, part 1 and part 2. Hopefully watch part 1 of my interview with Kristin Cowan-Lyn, my first cousin, and role models growing up. Please like and subscribe to the channel. That really helps me to build this platform. It is a labor of love. And yeah, please just come back next week. I do an episode every Friday. And yeah, that's how you can support me. So like, subscribe. See you next week. Bye.